Hi and welcome to Totex. Today I'll be showing you in the Totex e-commerce platform 17.0 release how we've added a new payment type that allows any websites hosted on the platform to have those orders paid for using the Afterpay's Buy Now Pay Later payment services. By allowing users and customers to pay for orders using Afterpay service allows them to purchase their products without having to pay for them first. Afterpay will initially cover the cost of the order for the business who's doing the selling and handle charging the customer in small incremental amounts in the future, typically over 4 incremental payments to recoup the money and the cost of the order. Totex's e-commerce platform integration to Afterpay makes it easy to set up the payment service on a hosted website after an Afterpay merchant account has been created first. Once set up in a hosted website, users can choose the Afterpay payment service at checkout and are redirected to Afterpay's website to complete the payment. Then they are redirected back to the original website to finish the order submission. By using Afterpay's payment service, it may lead to increased sales since Afterpay is a widely used payment platform and may be the preferred payment option for many customers who are purchasing in the retail space. To see how this works, we have a content managed website here that is hosted on the Totex e-commerce platform, and in this demo site, I've already logged in. On the basket page, I can add a couple of products to the order, whether through product search or using a quick add feature like I'm doing so now. And then when we click on the checkout button, if on the next page that contains an order checkout and submission area, or a guest order checkout submission area if the user is not logged in and is ordering as a guest, if my account has the Afterpay payment type enabled for it and it's been set up in the backend administration center, there is now the ability to choose from Afterpay as the payment type, as well as entering the rest of the order details. I can now click on the next button, proceed through the order review stage, confirm the order and click the submit button. The user will be now taken to Afterpay's website where they can either log in with their existing Afterpay account or they can set up their own new account. Then proceeding through the next step of logging in using the Afterpay account, I can see the total amount from the order, see the products that have been added to that order, as well as their quantities, and then I can see how Afterpay is going to charge in order to pay for this order, the amounts that is due for the installments in order to finish off the order, as well as being able to choose a credit card or to be able to set up a credit card against my After account to pay for the order. Once I'm happy with all those details, I click the confirm button. Once Afterpay has successfully passed their payment checks, they will then redirect the user back to the originating website where they came from where the Totex platform would then advise that the order is confirmed and that they should make the payments, and Afterpay, once successfully returned, Totex will then submit the order, and then the user will see the success message here confirming that their order has been placed, as well as they can see the transaction ID of the Afterpay payment and the order number. But by doing this, Afterpay can then pay the business who is supplying the order. Then they will chase up handling receiving the money for the order, as well as dealing with any late payment fees or any other financial problems with that payment. Now, once a payment is successfully made, Afterpay will then also send out an email notification to the purchasing user advising that the payment has successfully been made, as well as when they can be expected to have to pay in the installments to cover off the order and those due dates for each installment. As well as the email will contain the web order number, as well as Afterpay's own order number in their own system, as well as the retailer information, and they'll advise on what the next steps is to confirm the payment. Additionally, the user at any time can log into their Afterpay account and look and see the orders that they have raised there as well. Such as here, we can see all the payments that have been made for the orders that have been submitted. And if we go into an individual order, we can see all the details of the payment schedules, the order details, the individual products data that was passed across Afterpay during the ordering process, the credit card that was relevant to it, as well as the delivery and merchant information. And this same information is also available for the backend in the merchant business account for Afterpay as well. So in order to enable the Afterpay payment type, a few things have to be set up first. Firstly, a business needs to sign up a merchant account with Afterpay themselves if they don't already have an account, which is typically done in the business area on Afterpay's website, and proceeding through their steps in order to get started. Now, do note Afterpay will do checks before a business account can be set up on their platform, and you need to be selling the right kinds of products that Afterpay will allow to complete their application process and get access to their service. Now, once that has been done, you'll be allocated an account manager and you'll be able to then set up API credentials that the Totex platform to enable the connection to Afterpay. So it's best to talk to your Afterpay account manager on how to set up those API credentials. If we then go into the administration center and click on the stores menu, if we go into the payment settings, within the store settings interface, if we scroll down, there is a new section here called Afterpay where we can set the different credentials that we need to connect up to our Afterpay business account. So the first thing we have is an environment where we can set to allow payments to be connected up to Afterpay's sandbox environment or its live environment. If you're initially setting up the payment, then the sandbox option is the best option because it allows us to test that the connections are working, and Afterpay is allowing the connections to be made back to their website. Only once that has been successful and the testing has been completed, then you would turn on the live mode. But before that happens, Afterpay first needs to approve your website, and they will be asking to look through on how the entire ordering process works to make sure that their branding is in the right spots on the website. So the first thing we need to do is we need to get the Afterpay merchant ID. So that's an ID that Afterpay will provide to your merchant account, and then you would just put in the number into here. And then you also need to provide the Afterpay's API secret key. So if you're unsure what that secret key is, talk to your Afterpay account manager about how to set up those API credentials. But the secret key needs to go in here. Like the name says, it is equivalent of a password and it should not be freely shared around. So that may look like a long string of text and numbers that we have here. The third option we have here is a payment error message. If the amount of the order is outside of the allowed limits for that Afterpay merchant business account, then this is the error that will be displayed back to the purchasing user, advising them that the order cannot be made because the order may be under the minimal allowed amount, which may be $100, or it may be over the maximum amount, maybe say $2,000 set. So when that occurs, you can customize that message on what is seen to the user to give them a message that allows them to easily understand what they need to do next. And we've already created a default message that you can start with the hooks involved, where you can then set the minimal amounts display in that message. Now, Afterpay also wants to know if an order is being picked up from a store as opposed to being delivered to a home or business address, then they want to know when those orders are being picked up. So for example, if in our order checkout, if we had our order options to allow a pickup at store or in-store option, then in this field, we need to list out of all those order options that are considered to be a pickup option. So within the stores menu, under the order options, if you had any order options that were a pickup based type of option, then we need to get its ID and put them into this field here. And if you have multiple of these options, so for example, if we had 3 different order pickup options, such as pickup or pickup in our Melbourne store or our Sydney store, we would need to then list them out here. And so that way, when the order gets submitted to Afterpay, Afterpay will be advised the order is being picked up in store, which is a requirement to use their payment service. So once we've saved those settings, the next thing we need to do is enable the payment service against our customer accounts. So within our customer accounts interface, we can see the details of the account and we can see the payment types that are enabled for an account. Any users are assigned to this account or ordering on behalf of this account. The Afterpay payment option needs to be enabled to be able to see and to be able to select the Afterpay payment type. So in order to do that, there's a new payment type code that we've added called AP. This needs to be added to the list of payment types that is provided either when the accounts are updated or imported into the Totex platform, either through the data imports interface. So for example, if we were managing one or many accounts in a spreadsheet CSV file, we could then add another column for the Afterpay payment if it's set to a value of Y that says select that payment type for that account, or you could set it to no if you don't want specific account, and we could have many different accounts with each of our IDs here and allow that to update here. But typically for most use cases, you're going to be using a connector and importing and updating business accounts from the connector. So it's where in the payment types that are selected against an account, whether it's hard-coded or it's stored within the business system, you just need to include the AP payment type code with the other payment type codes to enable them to be then selected for the account. So once the Afterpay payment type has been enabled for the account and the Afterpay payment settings have been configured, then any users assigned to that account can then start selecting the Afterpay payment type when they proceed to the order checkout process. So initially for testing, you would only want to enable the Afterpay payment type for a single account, which is used for testing and demonstration. And then once that's completed and Afterpay have approved for to go live with the system, then the Afterpay payment type be turned on for all other accounts to enable ordering. Now, if we're using Afterpay and using it in the testing process, when the user proceeds through Afterpay's system, they are going to the sandbox system of Afterpay, and we can see that because in the URL it says portal.sandbox.afterpay.com. So in order to use the sandbox system, you will have to create then a demonstration account, so you can enter some fake information here, but there is some important pieces to note that you need to set a phone number that nobody else in the sandbox system has defined against their accounts. And after you've set up this example account, you'll be advised to enter a verification number for the phone number. Afterpay will never actually send out an SMS message for the verification code, and it is always just the number 1111. Now that's only for their sandbox system. In the real system, they will absolutely send out an SMS, but you'd be creating a legitimate account then. And it's the same for the credit card details. To set a credit card number up in their testing system, within the Afterpay's developer documentation, they have some example credit card numbers that you can use in order to test both payments that are approved as well as payments that will decline, in order to make sure that both workflows are working as expected. Using their documentation here, we can then put in a Visa-based credit card, and we just need to make sure we get their expiry dates correctly. This also demonstrates what the sign-up process is for Afterpay as well in both their sandbox and real system. And once we've added our demo credit card, then we confirm the order. Note that the user can also be taken back to the website if they just click the close icon at the top there where Afterpay's name is. And you can also change the credit card number at any time to test that. So once we click the confirm button, then once again we can see that order submission that has taken place. Once we've finished testing this out, it will then require you to contact Afterpay to get them to test it out. And one of the things they may ask for is to embed the Afterpay logo and the messaging on the product detail page. So that would involve going into Afterpay's developer library and then finding the HTML code that we can embed into the product detail area that will allow the text to show where it says the installments price as well as the Afterpay logo. To do that, you need to embed this custom Afterpay tag that they have specified, where we can add in additional information, the amounts that the product will cost as well as the placement, and then we also need to embed their JavaScript to load on the page. So if that was required, we go back into the website's interface. Within the website area format library, we would go into the product detail area type, and within there we would find the format that we're using to display that area. But then from there you'd go into there, so you would add their script code. Now if you had multiple product detail areas on the page, then you would only need to modify the web page template to load the Afterpay JavaScript. But if it's only for a single area that would be loaded on the page, then we could embed that, as well as getting this HTML placement information and putting that above the JavaScript, so that way its JavaScript could then find it. And then we need to change this to match ours. For example, if we're using one of our currency to match what was used by the Content Manager website, we go into global format hooks. We would then find the currency code, which would be the 3-digit character code. And then we could embed also the pricing amount from the area format. So we have many different prices that we can place in here. And this would be pricing inclusive of tax. So we'd use the price inc hook there in order to display the amount. If any product that is loaded into this area, these hooks will then populate with the correct amounts. So once we click that save button, that will then allow the Afterpay text and logo to then appear within our product detail area. And we'd probably want to put that Afterpay placement in the precise position where we want the Afterpay logo to appear. So here, if we wanted it under the pricing, we may decide to stick in a new tag here, allowing the Afterpay logo to appear directly in the space that's available there. And Afterpay may request other changes made to your website, such as if you're putting logos in the bottom of the page or payment services, they may ask you to also include it there. Now you know how the Totex e-commerce platform supports the Afterpay Buy Now Pay Later service, allowing any websites hosted on the platform to support offering their customers using Afterpay to pay for the orders, which is particularly important for retail-based businesses dealing with direct consumers who know and rely upon Afterpay to pay for their online orders. If you wish to learn more, visit the Totex forums or contact us on the totex.com website. And to learn about more features and changes made to the Totex platform in the Totex platform releases, click to view the playlist here on our YouTube channel where you can find more great detail. Thanks.